So I'm meal prepping for my son because my husband and we are going on a trip to Maldives for 4 days and I wanted to pack him some food. So let's start off by making mayo. You have the ingredient list on the screen. Here is some boiled eggs that I made in my meal pressure setting. Cook it for 5 minutes and you let it sit for 5 minutes and then you put it in cold water for 5 minutes. I made this simple mayo at home. I have not over seasoned it because I try to season it as per my requirement while I'm making the dish. I'm also putting some of the extra mayo in this container and I'm going to store it in the fridge and leave some to make an egg salad for a sandwich. My son is hungry right now even, so I'm going to give him some sandwich. And you will see me using regular bread sometimes, all kinds of white breads, because my son, he's a teenager, so I think that says it all. So here are my eggs. I'm peeling them. I've peeled some of them and I'm going to cut it using this slicer and I will place them again vertically so that I get cubes out of it. Now here I have 3 eggs. I have salted it lightly because as I said, my mayo is lightly salted or seasoned. I'm putting some freshly ground black pepper. I'm putting my mayo in. You can add a little bit of sugar. It tastes divine with that. And this is my bread, which I'm applying a little bit of butter to, and I'm going to put it in the air fryer for about 2 minutes or so. In the meanwhile, I'm also adding some chili vinegar to this. I'm just adding any flavorings that I feel like. You could add a little more of the mustard. I'm going to just pile it onto the bread. I don't like to cover this because an open sandwich kind of allows you to put a lot more filling or whatever you're putting on the sandwich and less of the bread. So that's just a trick of cutting down on the bread. So now I've sliced all the other eggs. I've put some coriander leaves, some fresh onions. And this is a sweet chili sauce that my son likes, and or I would say that we all like. I don't eat it though. And a little bit of salt, and I'm going to store this in the fridge for him to make an egg sandwich whenever he wants. So we have some bread in the fridge for him. This is some chicken that I'm making a curry for tonight, and then I'm going to store the rest for tomorrow. So here I've put turmeric powder, chili powder, salt, and yogurt. This is green chili ginger garlic paste, and I have applied all of this and let the chicken sit around for some time. In the meanwhile, I'm going to make its masala or the flavoring or the curry part. So we have in a mealy pot some olive oil and chopped onions. I have added my frozen tomato puree. I cook the tomatoes, peel them, and also get rid of the seeds for. Then we store these in the freezer to use whenever we want, which is what I use. And now I have put my chicken in. I'm sauteing it a little bit. And I've left the chicken breasts aside because sometimes overcooking them will make them dry. So I'm going to let the rest of the chicken cook and then put those in. And I have also added a couple of potatoes, which is what my husband likes in the curry. And once they cook in the chicken flavors, the potatoes taste really good. Here I'm washing my basmati rice because my son likes basmati rice. We like the stickier variety a little more, but he likes this. So I'm washing this and I don't throw away the water. So I put it in the plants, which is what I've done. I washed it thrice and I'm going to soak it for half an hour and then cook it. Chicken is ready. I've put my chicken breast. I'm going to let it boil a bit. I'm checking for seasonings, whether I need a little bit of salt and whether my potato is cooked, and it looks fine. It's going to cook completely while the chicken breasts are boiling. I've added a little bit of salt and you can add some garam masala. I have added this black sauji masala, which is a form of a garam masala, and look how the color completely changed. I think I like the orange color a little bit more, but not bad. And this is for my son. He is eating his lunch, late lunch right now, and that's a jowar or a millet roti. We also eat it with some raw onions. Now here is some olive oil. I've put garlic and dried red chilies. I have put my steamed broccoli in, a little bit of salt, and that's all it needs. You can add some soy sauce instead of salt if you want, but the simple thing is just as delicious. You can load it up with a lot more olive oil if you're liking to eat that. Now here is some of the stuff that I'm going to cook for him. These are some prawns. Here I have different kinds of chickens, chicken wings, I have chicken legs whole, then I have a whole chicken with the skin on. I don't know if I'm going to cook so much of the wings, but I'm going to definitely make 1 kg. Now our rice is soaked and I'm going to put it for cooking. On the gas I put some salt. So here are the chicken legs. I'm going to cut them into two, separate thighs and the drumsticks. So this is 4 legs, about a little over 1 kg maybe. The Indian chicken isn't that big, which is great. I believe that it's a little more flavorful because of that. I'm adding a little bit of soy sauce, some Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of salt. You can add some spicy sauce. I'm just keeping it simple because I don't want to waste too much time on prepping. I'm applying all of the seasonings to the chicken and I'm going to set it aside in the refrigerator. Here is some garlic powder. You can add onion powder, tomato powder, but I'm just going to limit it to garlic and onion powder. And now this is going to go into the refrigerator. This is the whole chicken and I'm going to keep the seasonings very simple for this. I'm putting some salt on the side. I also added tomato powder, garlic powder and black pepper, and the camera was off. So along with the salt, I mixed all of these powders and I'm just applying that to the skin. I'm also going to add a little bit of butter into this and put that near the chicken breast and on the inside. The chicken breast tends to be a little more dry and that's the reason I'm adding the butter, but it's not really required. Now 2 of our meats are marinated. 1 is cooked. So let me just put it in the air fryer. I've been using air fryer in place of an oven because my oven wasn't functioning well. And then when I bought the air fryer, I realized I just don't need an oven. This is working for our family of 3 now. We have a lot of guests. Sometimes my in-laws visit, but it's just working fantastically. It's the Instant Pot one. I can leave you the link in the description. So I have put it on 165 degrees centigrade for about 40 minutes. Initially I put it at a higher temperature and the skin got brown, but I wanted it to cook from inside, so I lowered the temperature because this heats up much more than an oven can. Our rice is ready. I have added some ghee. I'm going to transfer it into another pot so that it doesn't overcook in its own heat, and I've added some ghee to sort of give it flavor and also make it a little not sticky. It will kind of make it cook evenly. In the meanwhile, I'm also filling my lunch boxes with the rice. So this is about a 1/3 cup measure, which is what my son eats. He doesn't like rice as much. You can see I have different kinds of lunch boxes. All are healthy choices, mostly made with glass, stainless steel or silicone. Love the silicone ones because they are light and they also collapse and they're easy to store. Now here I have lamb ribs or goat ribs rather, and all I've done is applied salt, and this is one of my favorite ways to cook it these days. The meat is very tender and the flavor is really good. So I've just put it in olive oil with salt and I put the meat side down. It hardly has any meat, but it's extremely flavorful. I'm going to brown it completely is what I'm trying to do. It doesn't cook completely in this way, so I'm going to also pressure cook it once it is brown. The browning is only going to bring out the flavors by sort of the Maillard reaction or whatever it is. I've covered it and I'm putting weight on it so that the meat touches the bottom and gets brown. So now you can see it has a wonderful color. It's almost ready to be put in the pressure cooker. In the meanwhile, while the other side is also getting cooked a little bit, I'm adding my mushrooms there so that the mushrooms will start cooking and leave out the moisture, and the moisture will clean the pan. So we don't want to waste any juices or any browning that has happened from the meat. Adding some salt and olive oil. And we're trying to clean the pan. If that doesn't happen, we'll add a little bit of water as you see me doing. You can add chicken stock, and here is some garlic that I'm chopping in my tiny chopper, very handy. This is a non-spicy chili that I love. It gives it a good color and you can eat it. I added some gochujang. You don't have to. The mushrooms would be just great the way they are. But I added some gochujang, a little bit of sugar because I want my son to eat all of this and especially the vegetables. Now our chicken is ready. I'm cutting the wings off. I'm going to show you how to cut it. It's a little tough because I didn't have the patience to wait for it to cool down. So I'm using a tongs but didn't want to dirty my hands because I'm recording along with doing all of this. So I have to touch my camera, move it around. So I don't want to dirty my hands a million times. There will be a breastbone, so I have made cuts on both sides and then I get the breast out and then cut that into smaller pieces to be used in a sandwich on a later day. I'm going to start assembling these boxes and show you what I'm doing. I'm going to add a little bit of protein in each of these. So chicken legs in a couple of boxes and 2 chicken wings in one of the box and some breast. And then I've added the fat from the chicken that has come out into the rice, which flavors that. And here is the broccoli that I just made and I have put that in these boxes. This is the chicken breast. I put some of the juices from the chicken on top of the breast so that it remains moist. Here I have another batch of the chicken wings and I haven't seasoned them. I'm just going to cook them in the air fryer. And this takes about 15 minutes or so to cook, but keep an eye on it because your air fryer might be different. So there was the fat that came out of the air fryer and I put that in a pan with chopped garlic that we did in the chopper. And this is the hot sauce that I'm going to use, and this is a chili just for the look of it, but as I said, it's quite delicious and it's a very mild chili, so I like eating that. So here is our hot sauce. I'm going to add a little bit of salt because we haven't salted our chicken before. And this is some cheese that I added, and I think that was a bad idea because it didn't melt the way I was expecting it to. I wanted like a thick sauce to happen, which didn't happen. Now I have put my chicken wings in that had cooked, and I'm just pouring all of that into this box. It was delicious and I thought I will pack it in one of the boxes, but it got over the day off. Now these are the chicken legs that we had marinated in the refrigerator. I got them out. I'm going to put them in the air fryer and this will again take about 15 minutes or so. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to cook my cabbage. So I've cut cabbage into large pieces. I have olive oil, I have put the cabbage, and I'm also adding a chicken cube for flavor because my son doesn't enjoy vegetables as much. It's always a task to make it more and more flavorful, and this is a great idea. You can even add chicken stock to this. I have added about a tablespoon of potato starch or corn starch, either would work, into water, mix it up and pour it in. I added the whole chicken cube finally. I had added just the half in the beginning. And here I've added some coriander leaves and chopped onion just for the heck of it. Here is the lamb ribs that we sauteed on the pan. I'm going to put it in the pressure cooker and cook it. There were some beans at the bottom, but I'm not showing you that recipe. Here are our prawns. I've put them in olive oil. I'm just going to saute them and take them out. And then I'm going to make a nice red curry out of it and add the prawns back to it. Now this is the red curry paste that I like. I've put that in coconut oil and you saute the paste a little bit. You can add vegetables into this, and then I've added the coconut cream or coconut milk, whatever you like using. Add water as per your choice, and then while that is boiling, I want to show you what the ribs look like. They are completely cooked, they're falling off the bone. I absolutely love eating it like that. They're delicious. Here is a fish sauce, and this one got really old. I need to throw this away and buy a new batch. So I added fish sauce and I added some jaggery. You can add sugar or you could just leave it out if you're eating keto. When I make it for myself, I don't add any sugar. I decided to put some more of the curry paste because I felt like it needed a little more flavor. And I generally eat it as a creamy coconut based soup for me, which is my favorite. This is something we're going to eat tomorrow. Since I was in the kitchen, I decided to cook it right now. So our chicken legs are also ready. I'm going to put them in our boxes. I put the mushroom. If you've seen, I've put mushroom on top of the rice. This is the chicken breast, and our chicken wings are over already. So here I'm placing the chicken thighs and 2 chicken legs in this one, and that's the mushroom on top of the rice. And by this time my camera battery had gone down, so I decided to shoot on a phone, and one hand has the phone and the other is doing all of this, so the recording is a bit shaky. Here is some cabbage And I had some leftover seasoning oil from the chicken wings. I'm going to put that or pour that top of the rice and the cabbage, because why waste anything, and it has a lot of the chickeny flavor. And these are the ribs. I'm going to place a couple of ribs in each of the remaining boxes. And here, look, my meal prep is done. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you do, let me know in the comments section if you want to watch more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and like this video if you have liked it. Also, if you feel that I need to make some changes, write me a comment. I love to read all of your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.